High in the Himalayas, a world away from our bustling cities, lie villages that have stood for 1,000 years. For a millennium, their people have carved an existence from the unforgiving, yet beautiful landscape, their lives woven into the rhythm of the seasons. But today, this ancient way of life is threatened by a force more relentless than any harsh winter: climate change. This is the story of a Himalayan village on the precipice, a narrative of a 1,000-year history facing a future that is melting away before our very eyes. The Himalayas are often called the third pole. This is because they hold the largest reserves of ice and snow outside of the actual polar regions. These colossal frozen reservoirs are the lifeblood of Asia, feeding 10 of the continent's largest rivers and supporting the lives of an estimated 1.3 billion people downstream. For centuries, the communities living within these mountains have adapted, developing unique cultures and a deep, intuitive understanding of their fragile ecosystems. Among these are villages whose histories stretch back over a millennium. They are now on the very front lines of our global climate crisis. Take the Limi Valley in Nepal, home to the villages of Til, Halji, and Zang. These settlements have been continuously inhabited for at least 1,000 years. Culturally, they are closely aligned with Tibet, and their people are the custodians of some of the oldest surviving Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, dating all the way back to the 10th century. Another example is the village of Samjung, also in Nepal, in the Upper Mustang region. It's perched over 13,000 feet, or about 4,000 meters above sea level. Its history is deeply connected to the 2,000-year-old sky caves that honeycomb the surrounding cliffs, ancient chambers used for burials, meditation, and shelter. Then, in India's Zanskar region, there's the village of Kumik, one of the oldest and most remote settlements in the area. Its history is etched into the very mountains that are now changing so rapidly. For 1,000 years, the survival of these villages has depended on a predictable, delicate cycle of snowfall and glacial melt. This is a cold desert region, receiving as little as 10 centimeters of annual rainfall. Life is only possible because of the ice. In places like Kumik, snowfall could once reach depths of 3 meters. This snowpack provided essential moisture for the soil, allowing people to grow staple crops like barley. Then, during the warmer months, the slow, steady melting of the glaciers ensured a constant supply of water for drinking and for irrigating their terraced fields. This delicate equilibrium has been the foundation of their entire world, shaping everything from their agriculture and livestock herding to their cultural and spiritual practices. But this millennium-old tapestry of life is now unraveling. The 21st century has brought with it an accelerated and alarming shift in the climate. The Hindu Kush Himalayan region is warming faster than the global average. A 2023 report by the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, or ICIMOD, found that the region has warmed by nearly 2 degrees Celsius since 1950. The warming is even more pronounced at high altitudes. This rapid temperature rise is causing the Himalayan glaciers to melt at an exceptional rate. New research shows they are melting 10 times faster than the average rate since the Little Ice Age, which was about 400 to 700 years ago. The projections are terrifying. Some studies warn that up to 80% of the entire glacier volume in the Hindu Kush and Himalayas could vanish within this century if we don't drastically cut greenhouse gas emissions. For the villages that depend on these frozen reservoirs, the consequences are immediate and catastrophic. Their once reliable sources of water are simply disappearing. In the village of Samjung, 3 streams that sustained the community for centuries have all dried up. It's a stark, silent testament to a dying landscape. Residents of Kumik have watched in despair as the mighty glaciers on their horizon recede, revealing bare, dusky rock where brilliant white ice once stood. The deep snows of the past are now a distant memory. Where they once had 3 meters of snow, it now drops to less than 1 meter. This has caused a drastic reduction in the water available for irrigation. The situation is even more dire in Upper Mustang, where it reportedly hasn't snowed for nearly 3 years. For communities whose entire agricultural calendar is dictated by snowfall, this is an existential threat. The problems don't stop with disappearing ice. The entire pattern of precipitation is changing. While the overall amount of snow has decreased, the monsoon rains have become more intense and erratic. The traditional homes in these villages are made of mud and brick, designed to withstand a dry, cold climate. They were not built for torrential downpours. Now these ancient structures are crumbling under the force of intensified rain. The steep, fragile slopes of the Himalayas are highly susceptible to landslides and flash floods when so much rain comes all at once. These events destroy homes, wipe out precious farmland, and demolish vital infrastructure like roads and small hydropower plants, isolating communities for weeks or months at a time. One of the most unpredictable and catastrophic new threats facing the region is the glacial lake outburst flood, or GLOF. As glaciers melt, they can form large, unstable lakes at high altitudes, often dammed by nothing more than loose rock and ice. When these dams fail, a devastating torrent of water, mud, and boulders is unleashed on the valleys below. In May of 2025, the quiet of Till village in the Limi Valley was shattered by a strange rumbling sound. Suddenly, a deluge of earth, water, and rocks came hurtling down the mountainside. The 21 families of the village had to flee for their lives, abandoning everything. The source of the flood was suspected to be a frozen lake at an altitude of over 5,300 meters. Geoscientists suggest that thawing permafrost, permanently frozen ground, may be creating these unstable meltwater pools, priming the landscape for disaster. This unraveling of the natural world is inevitably leading to the unraveling of these ancient human communities. Faced with chronic water scarcity and the constant threat of natural disasters, many villagers are being forced to make an unthinkable choice: to abandon their ancestral homes. The village of Samjung in Nepal is now a ghost town. Its crumbling mud homes, cracked terraces, and unkempt shrines stand as skeletal remains of a community transformed by climate change. One of its former residents, a 54-year-old man named Kunga Gurung, explained the stark reality. He said, "We moved because there was no water. We need water to drink and to farm. But there is none there. The entire village of Kumik in India is also emptying out. Its inhabitants are migrating to a new settlement they've called Lower Kumik in a desperate search for a reliable water source." In the Limi Valley, after that devastating flood in 2025, the residents of Till village held a meeting and unanimously agreed to leave. They decided to abandon a settlement that had been their home for centuries, a decision that would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. This migration is not just a geographical relocation, it is a profound cultural and social rupture. As people move, often to crowded urban centers, they face immense challenges. They must find new livelihoods and adapt to a completely different, often alienating way of life. The tight-knit social fabric of these communities, built on mutual support and shared tradition, is torn apart. And with the emptying of these villages, a rich cultural heritage is being lost forever. Consider the Zongfylgyeling Monastery in the village of Jang. It closed its doors in 2024 because there were simply not enough monks left to maintain it. Once the monastery, the cultural and spiritual heart of the community, was gone, the village itself began to empty out. It's a clear example of how cultural decline and environmental pressures are deeply intertwined. If the people of Till and Zhang leave permanently, only the village of Halji will remain as the last fragile marker of the Limi Valley's 1,000-year heritage. The youth, in particular, see little future in the mountains. They are leaving in droves to seek opportunities in cities in Nepal, India, or abroad. While the money they send back can provide some economic relief, it comes at a high cost: family separation and the rapid erosion of traditional knowledge. The skills needed to farm on terraces, to manage livestock in high altitudes, to read the weather in the clouds, this knowledge, passed down through 100 generations, is not being transferred to the next. The very identity of these communities, an identity shaped over a millennium of living in harmony with the mountains, is eroding. The plight of these Himalayan villages is a powerful, human-scale illustration of the cost of climate change. Their voices, however, often struggle to be heard. Tashi Luzom, a 25-year-old climate activist from Halji village, spoke at a conference in Kathmandu. She lamented that mountain communities are often overlooked when it comes to climate hazards. For us to be taken seriously, she said, the flood has to be huge or the entire village has to be carried away. Her words highlight the desperate struggle for their reality to be acknowledged on the global stage. But despite the immense challenges and the feeling of being forgotten, the spirit of these communities is not entirely broken. In the face of government inaction, the villagers of Till sent their own team up the mountain to investigate the source of the flood that devastated their homes. They are determined to understand what is happening to their world. In Kumik, villagers attempted the Herculean task of digging a canal by hand, trying to channel water from the distant glaciers all the way to their village. It's a testament to their resilience and their desperation to find solutions. There is a growing recognition among experts that we need region-specific, sustainable development policies. These policies must integrate better climate monitoring, adaptation strategies based on restoring ecosystems, and a synergy between ancient indigenous knowledge and modern scientific advancements. Community-led initiatives have already shown promise. The installation of simple, effective early warning systems for floods in parts of Nepal has been successful in saving lives and reducing loss and damage. However, these local efforts can only go so far. Ultimately, the fate of these ancient Himalayan villages is inextricably linked to the global response to climate change. The decisions made in distant corporate boardrooms and international climate conferences have a direct and profound impact on the lives of people in the world's highest mountains. The 1,000-year history of these Himalayan villages is a story of human endurance. It is a narrative of a people who have learned to thrive in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. But now, as the glaciers that are the source of their life retreat and the springs they drink from run dry, their fragile existence hangs in the balance. Their story is a poignant and urgent reminder that climate change is not some abstract future threat. It is a present reality that is already displacing communities and erasing centuries of cultural heritage from the map. The world must listen to their cry for help before these ancient mountain cultures, like the glaciers that have sustained them for so long, melt away into memory.